Hey, First Regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about a Plasma Incinerator build for the Tactical class in both Operations and Siege mode on patch 8.0 Space Marine 2. Now, the Plasma Incinerator is an incredible boss killer, great for wiping out Majora's packs, and has pretty decent contested health recovery with its charge shots, and charge shots are the name of the game with this weapon, which is why we take the Rate of Fire variant. Now, some people like the Venting Speed version, but this one is just worse than the Rate of Fire. Getting charge shots off quickly is just the most important thing about the Plasma Incinerator for both your survivability and your damage, and while you are executing with this gun, your weapon will cool, so really, as long as you manage your charge shots properly, you'll be going from execute to execute anyways, and venting speed is only useful in like a very niche scenario of triple bosses, or like one of those scenarios you're actually able to properly spam out shots, which is not that common in siege mode on the higher waves because there are just so many enemies, and oftentimes you just need to pot shot guys, which this is really good for. Now, as far as the actual perk tree selection goes, I have taken blast radius. Damage radius of a charge shot increases by 10%. Bigger radius is very important for this gun. Helps us hit multiple boss spawns, which is like the hardest thing in siege mode anyways, and really useful for wiping out multiple Majora's packs. Next perk here is Rampage. After killing 7 enemies in rapid succession, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Cooldown is 15 seconds. This is very easy to pull off. 25% is a very chunky number, and 10 seconds is an eternity in a video game. Cooldown is 15 seconds. Unfortunate it has a cooldown, but what are you going to do? Otherwise it'd be too easy to pull off. Next thing here is efficient charge. Charge shots from this plasma weapon use 2 less energy. This is just making our gun more ammo efficient. Pretty important even with things like Emperor's Vengeance, so we can actually get between procs. Next thing here is charge speed. Projectile speed of charge shots increases by 25%. This just lets you hit your charge shots more easily. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't take the plasma collection here because I don't find this necessary when we have the perk Emperor's Vengeance for ammo economy, because overall you already have like maximum ammo with things like skilled supplier in this anyways all the time. Like you're not really going to be running out that often. And then we go into more blast radius for, once again, the same reason as before. And then we go up into common speed. This one's pretty worthless, but we have to take it to get into adamant restoration, which just gives you back more ammo, unlike getting knocked down to low HP, which will happen sometimes. This is kind of easy. An easy way to get back ammo if your Emperor's Vengeance is on cooldown. You've really been spamming shots. Then I go into the perk I actually want, which is Retaliation. After a perfectly timed dodge, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This one has no cooldown, and you dodge through things like Carnifexes in this game or Lictors all the time, especially Raveners. It just gives you more damage. 10 seconds is an eternity. Pretty self-explanatory, really good perk. Then we go into fast venting. Weapon cools 15% faster. This is useful for times where like you just have to get your weapon cooling off, and we kind of have to take this after retaliation to get down into the most important perk, which is perpetual velocity. Shots charge 15% faster. Now, this perk tree got a rework. There used to be 2 versions of this perk. There are no longer. So your overall charge rate is actually slower than it used to be in like patch 5.0 and 6.0, but still good. Still a necessary perk. I would take this on every single Plasma Incinerator build ever, just because shots charging faster is the most important thing on this gun. Then we go down into efficient charge again for even more ammo efficiency, and really this gun's charge shots become so efficient with this combined with the plasma boost, and you just pretty much use no ammunition at all in this gun. It's kind of insane how good the ammo economy is on the tactical class overall. And then I finally move into Great Might. Damage increases by 10% against Terminus level enemies. In absolute difficulty, Terminus guys have 66% increased HP now, and this is just really useful to nuke them down. It also nukes down bosses, the triple boss spawns that are the major killer of Siege mode. Really good for all of that, which is why I take it. If you want to take something like Hone Precision, you can. This will make your hip fire shots a lot more accurate, and your plasma shot won't go flying everywhere. And if you want to like forego all of this, you could take both. If you were to go down like right here and just go into this perk tree and then like take this and then go up. So we go up to take Home Precision, and you just want to like forego Adamant Restoration entirely and Retaliation entirely. I just don't like Perfect Radius as a perk that much. After a perfectly timed dodge, the damage radius of a charge shot increases by 10% for 10 seconds. This is just not that useful compared to pure damage because our blast radius is already quite large. And this is pretty much just giving you another blast radius perk, except you have a condition on it, which isn't that great to me. So that's why I just decided to go up here instead for more damage. Now, as far as our secondary goes, you have 2 choices here. You could take the Plasma Pistol for the full Plasma build, or to benefit off of the Prestige perk Acuity here, which is the increased headshot damage, we take the heavy bolt pistol, which is very good at wiping out neurothropes. And overall, whenever I'm taking plasma boost, obviously you always take either a plasma pistol or a plasma incinerator, but I prefer the heavy bolt pistol on this outside of siege mode, mainly because it's better at killing things like neurothropes than the plasma shots are, and overall the heavy bolt pistol is very good for things that need to proc headshots on. And the way I set this up is this way, with terminus damage included for those neurothropes, and then on the plasma pistol I just take the ammo efficiency version, or I take the rate of fire variant, and I just go down this way for efficient charge to get all your plasma damage, though the perfect cooling here doesn't do a ton for us. We can't just, like, it's the only perk we can take, so we go down this tree. And as for our melee weapon, we have chosen the Artificer Blockchain Sword. This is the overall best weapon on the tactical class currently. The lack of strength versus the relic tier really does not matter that much, except against bosses at times, and you aren't really meleeing bosses on this class to begin with, and the block weapons are just the best for the synergy with your battle focus perk. It does tremendous damage. You can take the relic tier version if you want. This one does do more boss damage, but overall this one is still better. And if you really want to take fencing, you could, but really block weapons are just better on tactical. And as far as the perk tree setup goes, this is what we take here. We just go into the full throttle for the skip. You can also take the momentum gain here because of how fast our speed is, but if you want to like forego this and just take the perk for a light combo to deal 10% more melee damage, that can be better, especially on other versions of this weapon. But overall, chain swords are just goated in this game. And as far as our perk selection goes, we have taken Plasma Boost. When plasma weapons are 30% overheated, their damage increases by 40%, and their charge shots use 1 less energy. This is a plasma build, pretty much a no-brainer. Always take this, even if you only have like a plasma pistol. It's pretty much like the best perk for any plasma weapon build at all. And then we go into Heightened Vigor. After a perfectly timed parry, block, or dodge, you deal 10% more melee and gun strike damage. Do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. This is an incredible god tier perk. You pretty much always have to take this on the tactical class because no knockback is life-saving. This is his main form of knockback resist. If you don't have knockback resist, you can just get outright stun locked by things like sword warriors and 100 to 0'd. Always take it. Amazing perk, god tier. And then we go down to another god tier perk, Emperor's Vengeance. This one just gives you ammo back on Majora's kills, pretty much infinite ammo, gives you more requisition points to use in siege mode especially. Always take this, especially in siege mode. You pretty much always take this. These other perks don't even like do a full benefit for us here, because this one, like, we don't benefit at all from weapon spread and recoil reduction on a plasma gun, and we don't reload from Emperor's Judgment. Next perk here is Secure Stockpile. Equipment charge is restored by 1 for all squad members. Cooldown is 60 seconds. This perk is absolutely god tier. It is so much better than these other two. Even Aligned Aim, which is not bad, but this one just gives you 60-second cooldowns on Melt-A-Bombs for your whole team. This also stacks on top of other team perks, your like teammates' perks like Consecutive Execution, so they can toss out like 2 Melt-A-Bombs in a row. It will also like count the cooldown for this thing down while you still have a Melt-A-Bomb in your inventory, so you'll be able to like toss out a Melt-A-Bomb and then immediately toss out another one in like 10 seconds or so. It's an incredible perk. Completely broken, to be honest. I'm surprised they didn't nerf this one from like the PTS to the live game, but it is just godly. It is an incredible perk. Always take this. Next perk here is Vital Data. Scanning an extremist or terminus level enemy restores Auspex scans charged by 50%. Especially in siege mode, this is super valuable because there are just so many extremist enemies, and you really want to be able to put out your Auspex scan as much as possible on triple boss spawns, and with concentrated fire, you just do a tremendous amount of bonus damage for your whole team with this out all the time. Great stuff. It also affects Minoris enemies and pretty much get one shot. Always take this in siege mode. If you don't want to take this in the operations, you could take priority targeting, but honestly, I've kind of grown to like this perk anyways, so I just put on this build for that reason. Next perk here is Battle Focus. A perfectly timed parry or block, it gives the parried enemy a mark from Auspex scan. This does now work on bosses again. They previously nerfed it in like the PTS, or it was bugged to not function that way. But now you can just mark bosses by blocking them or perfect parrying them, and having an Auspex applied on the most dangerous enemy is like the most valuable thing in this game for damage, for like a damage nuke. And Battle Focus, god tier perk, like top 5 perk in the whole game. Same thing here when we move down to Concentrated Fire. Auspex scan zone lasts 60% longer, and enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 120% damage, but they lose the mark when they leave the scanned area. This one, you put it down on like a triple boss spawn, and your heavy and your plasma will be able to just nuke a triple boss spawn in potentially like seconds if you guys properly position and you have like, you know, a lucky line of sight. But overall, concentrated fire is super, super valuable. It also makes it so we don't ever have to take a prestige perk like Second Look, because this does nothing for us when we have the concentrated fire zone, because you never miss with this one. Same thing here with Signature Impact, God tier perk. A melee finisher additionally deals significant area of effect damage in a 10-meter radius. Cooldown is 90 seconds. This is an AoE damage perk that can outright one-shot Majoris and even do significant damage to Extremis and bosses. Incredible perk, so much better than the other two options. Like, Signal Jammer is so trash that it makes it like, I'm honestly, this one needs like a whole rework to ever get even close to this one. Same thing with Marked for Death. This one's pretty trash. 120-second cooldown to kill one Extremis when there are like hundreds of them in siege mode now. Pretty terrible. Not even that good in operations at times, because Radiant Impact is just so effective. As far as the prestige perks go, I do have Acuity here because I was taking the heavy bolt pistol on this run, but if you don't want to take the heavy bolt pistol, you can forego this for something like Spare Power. Collecting an ammo box restores ability charge by 25%. This is really useful in the siege mode because you can just buy ammo boxes. It's a lot better than it looks, but in the actual operations, it's pretty trash. And then I take Skilled Supplier. Ammo reserve increases by 15%. Just free ammo makes it easier to get between our Emperor's Judgment loops. This also counts for our... where is it? It also counts for our plasma pistol here, so we get more ammo on this as well, and our heavy bolt pistol. So Skill Supplier, quite good. And then we take Resilience. Medicate stims restore 40% more health. Just makes our stims more valuable. Value is value, that's more requisition points for us. And then Fortitude, health increases by 15%. This will prevent you from getting one shot at times or outright dying. Incredible perk. Always take this. Probably the most important perk in this tree besides Acuity for builds that have like headshot damage. Fortitude just God tier. And that's really all there is for the actual perk setup. And now it's time to get into the actual gameplay of the Plasma Incinerator build. Alright, here we are in game for, what's that? Another decapitation run with bots. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because I don't feel like re-recording this, and this mission is fast. And bots make it so we pretty much guaranteed win. But you could also take this build in true solo, it'll do fine. I'm just lazy. I don't feel like having like a failed run or anything. I'm gonna re-record. Let's flunk this. I will say I am using the heavy bolt pistol here, so we're taking this into siege mode. It still functions well. Just make sure to take like a plasma pistol or something, because I think the plasma pistol is overall better. Especially the AoE gun strikes with how many enemies there are in the siege mode. But heavy bolt pistol is good for like neurothroat bosses and the operations especially. Fuck this guy. Now, I haven't really been reading the public reaction for siege mode recently. I think most people are enjoying it, but I imagine triple boss spawns, if you don't know how to deal with them, you're gonna be very lost. Probably dead, actually. Maybe I should make a guide for that. Actually, I think that's what I'll do next. I'll make a guide for the triple bosses, because they're really not that hard. They also have lower HP and they do an absolute difficult right now. You just have to... I mean, they are hard. I guess that's not fair to say they're not hard, but... they're not as hard. They're not impossible. They're quite doable. They do kind of suck to fight in melee, though.
You are fertilizer now, Seagulls.
Shoot this guy.
Our brothers in arms need our help. Let us hurry.
Incredible shot by me. Now the biggest benefit of plasma is how much damage you can do to biovores as well. Since they take full damage, alright, I think they're sending right my way, Vanguard. But since they will take full damage from your plasma charge shots, because they don't really have any, your plasma guns don't have any headshot multiplier in this game. They're just pure damage. I wish some of the bolters worked like that, to be honest. And you know, another thing I saw somebody bring up is bolter weapons in this game should not be piercing through enemies. Because the way a bolter functions is basically like it detonates inside the person that hits. It's like a bolter round goes into you and explodes. So the penetration doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all in this game. At least as far as I know for bolter weapons. I'm sure there's some variants that might go through multiple enemies. That seems like it should be more of a function of like a las weapon or like an auto gun. Let's move through here. There's a potential boss spawn here. You can't affect as a neurothropes. We'll see. We'll see if we are so blessed this time. His own throat's freed. Oh, I got pulled out of my hip fire there. Sucks. Ow. Gonna get caught in there. That's okay though. I think I got whacked by the Ravener. So that our HP is low, next box we open up will automatically give us some good old stims. Just how these Rector in this game works. Behold. Guaranteed, pretty much.
I would share my reflections, but I have observed.
I don't know how I feel about this game's Rector at times. It's very easy to manipulate it and be like, alright, give me what I want.
No. Changing magazine. You are fertilizer now, Seagull. Half visual.
Thanks, Heavy Butt. Alright, what are we doing here? And grab an armor boost.
You must assemble here. Reporting in from the tower, Captain.
The Minotaur does not store explosives to Codex Astartes standards. Look, it's enough to demolish the bridge.
Pathetic tyranny.
Let's grab the explosive charges. Go through this goddamn jungle here. Into the most horrifying enemy, the final boss, the Enraged Devourer. These guys are a little overtuned. I'm not a big fan of the Enrage mechanic in this game. It is better than in the actual Siege mode, because in Siege mode they don't get the HP back, but having like a healing mechanic in a game with like very set breakpoints, kind of dumb. let's grab
Your
this.
fertilizer now.
Now you can take this build into Chaos as well, though I'll say that the Plasma is not terrible against Chaos, but it does have to be played very conservatively. If you miss a single Doris execute, you might be in for a bad time. Oh, thank you guys for letting me double up on you.
Subterranean alien. Shock grenade.
There we go. I have found that in these solos without bots, the spawns from the hordes have been kind of lame. But boss spawns are kind of horrifying. Because fighting a 66% increase HP boss with some of the builds in this game sucks when you're by yourself.
Direct me to where I can place these charges.
So you probably do still have to use like increased spawn mods if you want to fight like the, you know, well that's not always true. If you want to fight the hardest things in the game, you gotta mod them in for like wild spawns. But you know, I think that might have been an oversight on them, on their part. I don't think they meant to have those spawns be lower. It's just the way the game, because like the way the game is set up in Space Marine 2 is that if you're like the last brother standing, excuse me, you will have fewer spawns, less spawns. And if you have a mod install, a lot of them just remove that. So it's like, okay, so it just always counts as 3 players, but I don't know if Saber actually did that for their version of no bots. Which might be why the spawns are so low. Or at least lower. It's still hard. It's still harder than this. I would like to have, you know, the full experience without in the vanilla game. Because they did say in the patch notes it's supposed to be a challenge mode. Ow, ow, ow.
Explosives prepared. That is all of them. Bring on the monstrosity.
The Hive Tyrant will reach your position shortly. Join the Imperial Guard defenses up on the bridge and lure that Xenos Colossus into the kill zone.
All specs ready to scan.
I would say something that Space Marine 2 is very good at is having a bunch of enemies clumped together to blow the fuck out of. It's very satisfying. Really tickles my my lizard brain. Or is it monkey brain? Not lizard brain, I don't know. Something else. Ow. That's why Biovore should not be allowed to knock you over, because there is so little counterplay to that. You just get stun locked and then, well, there's a sniper hit on your ass. That's that. Thank you, bot. There's some unnecessary damage there. Okay, maybe these were stiff and then we're back to where we were, which is epic. But that's okay. If that was the old Spore Mine damage, we'd be fucked.
Another Xenos fireform eliminated.
Right. Let's go over here. my Vanguard didn't decide to run all the way down the hallway. Or next, okay, teleport. That's convenient. Let's get up here. So there's a guaranteed sim spawn there, and if we find a Guardian Relic, we're just guaranteed to win. Alright, there we go, convenient. Because once we have a Guardian Relic, we can just take, like, you know, next box should also be a sim, so I'm just gonna go break that open. And then we can take the guaranteed sim, and then if we go down, we can just use the bot to get us up. And then we can clear our mortal wound, and if we go down again, the bot won't get us up. And if we go down again, Guardian Relic. And then if we go down again, the bot will get us up. So playing with bots is always easier than playing through solo, even with low response of it. Because in solo, or true solo, you die once, and there are things that'll one-shot you even in that mode. You're fucked without a Guardian Relic. Meanwhile, like one bot pretty much guarantees 4 ups or 4 incapacitations.
We may have to bring down the supply bridge.
Which is why we're playing it today, so I can get the plasma footage.
Objective is the Hive Tyrant, not the bridge. Defend this position until the Tyranid command unit is executed.
Understood, my lord.
Now, this is also the new Chainsword skin that's from the Siege mode here that you unlock. The way you get these skins, by the way, for those of you who are unaware, is just you just play Siege mode and they randomly drop, it feels like. Shoot my grenade back in a second here.
You have its attention. It is moving to intercept. Apply more pressure.
Look at them all fall down. Little guys. You guys are not that little. These guys just look tiny because we're huge. You know, people often talk about how the Emperor was a master psyker, the most powerful psyker the Imperium ever had, or really humanity ever had, as far as we know, besides like Malkador. But the thing that really makes him OP is that he survived. He's perpetual, so he's immortal, and he survived the Dark Age technology and learned everything he could from the Dark Age technology, or at least a lot of things. And he carried all of that genetic engineering knowledge into the 31st millennium, which allowed him to take over Terra with his Custodes and Thunder Warriors, because nobody else could make shit like that. Just him. Gave him a huge leg up in the Unification Wars. And then, you know, he stole some power and became super, like, a true god of psychic power. Well, I mean, that's good, you know, being an OP psyker is always good, but I'm just saying, don't sleep on the fact that the Emperor, the God Emperor of mankind, was also a big brain scientist.
Talassa here. We got the Hive Tyrant.
He just happened to be a psyker on top of that. Though being immortal as perpetual definitely helps.
But we blew it up. The swarm would go feral without the connection.
I know, I've read some theories of people talking about whether or not the God Emperor actually caused The or like he sabotaged humanity and the Dark Age technology so he could one day take over. But
That beast is not yet dead.
I'm not sure about the validity of that.
Sounds like we have a hunt,
I know people have talked about. They're like there are some excerpts of the God Emperor. This is my lore tangent for this video. For whoever's here, there are some excerpts about the God Emperor where some characters heard about him, or like they were also from around the time of the Dark Age technology, and they remember the Emperor as like a horrifying man, and things like that. So like maybe he was just like a mad scientist at one point. You never know. Not exactly they ever went too deep into his backstory. There was like a potentially, I believe it's a retcon backstory for him being like all the psychic shamans in a time when the warp was more calm, and they all combined themselves together to create like a super psychic entity. I believe that one's actually mildly retcon though. No, maybe not. Artifacts? Never seen a artifacts here before, that's cool.
Subterranean xenos below.
I don't want to get hit by that artillery.
Shock grenade. Burrowing ravener filth.
That artillery is awful. I think we'll go take down all your armor and hit your HP if it hits you once. I'm gonna chill back here and range spam him. This one does.
Disgusting tyranny scum.
Ow.
Specs prime. Commencing
Oh my god.
scan.
Boy. Oh, right through my stim. Probably brought the bots.
Take the chapter's due. Restoring our brother's
Probably should have saved those stims, but that's unfortunate. I got it wasted right there. Hit me right through it. It's a terrible spot to fight him though. Should have moved in here or something after I killed the getting bramble locked. It's pretty awful. Probably be a harder fight than the actual. The funny part is this is 100% a harder fight right here than the actual Hive Tyrant will be.
All specs ready to scan. Scanning.
Thank you. Yes, we did go down, waste our stims, but that's not the point. It's about the W we're taking now.
We made our Primarch proud.
Actually, I think it's a, yeah, 60% HP buff. I think it feels like it. But you know, bosses should be built around like 3 players, not 1, so I think that's a reasonable change there, because for a long time these card effects is like there were times you could actually like 10-second kill a Hellbrute on your own as a full carbine tactical, which is just not. I don't know, like that's the intention of a boss fight, in my opinion. A boss fight should be hard. It should just be like you snooze through it, even if it's a mini boss.
Is erratic.
It is called evasion.
Evade away from my firing lanes. Look at it flee!
Pursue and eliminate. We will not have a better opportunity to finish it off.
I do prefer that fight over the Neurothrope. The Neurothrope just feels like a waiting game often when you don't have a weapon that can kill it very quickly. Like if you have a Stalker Bolt Rifle, Neurothrope's super easy, but if you don't, you're just chilling there. If I use my stim like another one here. No.
Fresh munitions.
Kill him, and then kill him here.
Rearming. I will attempt to keep it on the auspex.
Alright, let's move on up.
Be ready.
Talassa, report.
We are after the Xenos Overlord. It cannot run forever.
Talassa, you cut out. Report.
Damn it! Nothing is getting through. We are in the dead zone.
Do not worry. When the Hive Tyrant is dead, the Lieutenant will know.
Oh, that was a mistake by me.
Ravenous, what's the growth?
If I hit a radiant impact there, I didn't get my last shot off.
Another Xenos fire for
I want my... That would have been a nut-worthy radiant impact. Let's head off. Move through. Now, I know last time, we're very late in this video now, but I know last time, my other recording, I had my game volume way too low, so I upped it a lot. I haven't actually listened to the recording yet on this, though, so maybe my voice will be super quiet this whole time, and you barely hear me. But either way, it's going up.
We made the lictor
Like yin and yang. One has too quiet game audio, the other one has too quiet me.
It is going up that wall. Let us try
We
to
can hit
head it
everybody.
off.
Yeah. Hit every type. Am I rolling into a wall? What am I doing? I'll throw this there to pump up the scoreboard and put it in the thumbnail. Just kidding. Alright, let's take this.
Stay close and
Interact. Go in. I go blast this guy. This is a real bum boss fight on all classes at this point. But especially us, because we are the boss slayer.
fire at will.
Once he actually lets us do an auspex here. Didn't tell us the HP got buffed here.
Deploying shock grenade. Auspex ready to
And
scan.
you're enraged. You suck.
Another Xenos fire for eliminated. Picking up extra rounds. Auspex engaged.
It'll take forever to kill this guy by yourself now. Hive Tyrant definitely got fatter, but I mean... I mean, even with like a bridge dropped on him, this is really more... Like, Hive Tyrants are more of the custodians that you deal with. kind of why they had like the whole like hand wave of, oh, we're sending in a bunch of Space Marines to kill a Hive Tyrant. How do we do that? Well, obviously we have to drop a bridge on them first. And then the squad still almost dies, and he still puts up this much of a fight.
My Auspex size scanner just spiked.
Hive Tyrants are pretty strong. Unfortunately, Tyranids are kind of jobbers. So most of their strong guys just get shit on. Except for the Northern Emissaries. They're built different.
Activating Auspex inbound.
But Swarm Lords, they are perpetual droppers. They're just there to show you how cool the Space Marines are.
Throwing shock grenade.
Wow. Oh, my bot.
Auspex deep scan ready. Commencing Auspex scan.
That should be it, bro. There we go. It's over. Alright guys, that's the Plasma Tactical build. Hopefully it gives you a good idea of how you kind of play around with it. Maybe I'll post a Chaos game, but I will say this build is definitely worse against Chaos than it is Tyranids, especially in solo, just because of your contested health recovery. But still decent. Still pretty good. Tactical is kind of hard to go wrong with. I will say in the hard mode, Siege mode, he can struggle with survivability on his own where other classes may not, especially Heavy, but still a very strong class and an excellent damage dealer and really like a super good support overall, and still pumps out excellent range damage. Let's see the stats for that time. We got ourselves 600 kills, like 1,000 kills almost in that map total, 14 extremists, 40,000 damage, almost 40,000 range damage. Plasma definitely pumps out the damage. That's how it is. But that's all for this match. If you like content like this, subscribe for more, and I'll have another guide posted like this tomorrow or sometime like that. And also probably a rant on the Assault class, because he's basically unplayable in High Siege. Until then, take it easy.